what the fuck was this thinking? It was, this is market. This is my stamp. Donkey brains of the night. Jordan Vucenic.
All right, welcome to Two Fight Fans, where we talk about all things in combat sports. I'm one fight fan, Colin.
I'm the other Stuart.
Stu, just explain why you sound so exacerbated.
Well, there's two things, Colin. Well, there's three things, Colin. One, when you engage in a podcast with someone else, you think you have an intimate and almost like a soul bond level commitment to one another. To watch the shit fights when they're going to happen and watch the good fights when they're going to happen as well. Colin, did you watch a single fight this weekend?
This weekend? No, I was unable to.
I see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. The second thing is I watched them.
Yeah,
that
I'm proud of you.
Hurt. Yeah, no, that hurt though. That was a big lift on my end. Because I also came back from a long work trip in which I learned my boss is the biggest moron I might have ever met in my life. So,
brutal.
Yeah. But I guess, there is one bigger moron than that, and that's Leon Edwards shooting in the third round on Sean Brady. So I guess, pitter patter, let's get at her. Let's talk about UFC in London. Colin, you didn't watch this.
No. I only got to see highlights and clips. Like, you had a work trip during the week. I had a work event all weekend, so I was only able to catch little things here and there. I could catch little spotlights on like the ESPN app every now and then, but
in between your OnlyFans sessions, it makes
basically sense. In between recordings. Yep.
That makes sense.
But it sounds like, this was not the event that we were hyping it up to be.
Yeah, no, it kind of sucked the horn. Like, is the UFC cooked? Is MMA? Have we been at the beginning of the end, and instead it's just felt like the middle? But now we're realizing, it's actually the beginning of the end for MMA? That might be the case. Yeah, this card sucked. This card wasn't very good. And it also was just disappointing at like a fight technique interest level.
So let's say more about that.
All right. Look, Leon Edwards, former welterweight champion, a phenomenal striker, amazing head kick KO, one of the best moments in MMA of the past 5-10 years.
Yep.
Extremely skilled, but routinely kind of like Ankalaev kind of decides I'm just going to cruise or just give up position, just kind of have donkey brains. And this was one of those fights where that definitely was the case, because he was piecing up Sean Brady in the first round, and then Sean Brady in the last 10 seconds did a pretty a good technical trip, but a pretty not a lot of horsepower behind it. And Leon Edwards went to the ground, didn't have a lot of urgency about fighting for position. And then that attitude of, fuck it, was Leon Edwards' attitude for the rest of this fight. Sean Brady took him down in round 2 within, I think, 7 or 9 seconds. And Leon Edwards did not seem to have any urgency at all. He threw 0 strikes in round 2.
Wait. What? How is that possible?
Right? He just seemed totally content to get smothered and positionally out-grappled through all of round 2. Sean Brady, I will say, great game plan, pressuring, move into the clinch. Sean Brady looks strong as fuck, like an ox. Grab a hold of Leon, not let him get away, get him to the ground. And Leon seemed to go, once he was on the ground, I don't need to throw an elbow from guard. I don't need to try to sweep. I don't need to try to threaten a submission. And Sean Brady is a very good grappler and a very crushing top controller. And so in round 2, Leon Edwards threw no strikes, threw up no submissions. He got zeros across the board.
Jeez.
Round 3
So
comes around. Leon Edwards starts on the feet. Sean Brady not quite as aggressive. And then lo and behold, Leon Edwards has a brilliant idea. After round 2, where I just got my ass handed to me, why don't I shoot on Sean Brady?
okay,
Shoots on
okay.
Sean Brady, gets snapped down with the quickness, and is proceeded to be out-grappled for the rest of the round. Round 4 comes along. I don't know how long it took. I think it only took like a minute and a half. Sean Brady takes him down, chokes him out. Leon Edwards taps. Just like, it really looked like after round 2, Sean Brady kind of take on Leon Edwards' will to fight, which we've seen before. That happened in his first Kamaru Usman fight. That second Kamaru Usman fight, if it wasn't for that head kick, he had looked defeated the whole way through. The Bilal Muhammad fight, he
Yeah.
just seems to like really kind of mentally beat himself overall. Which I don't want to take it away from Sean Brady. Sean Brady looked great. He came out there on short notice, beat a former champion. But it just was like, what donkey brain decisions Leon Edwards is making overall.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
that.
So I was gonna say, like, that's something that we didn't highlight enough is that Leon Edwards, when things don't go his way, he does kind of like fall into that habit of like, well, I can't do anything, like almost like giving up. Like I think we alluded to that in the Bilal Muhammad fight when we previewed that one, but we didn't talk about that at all this fight, which was the
Yeah.
entire Bilal Muhammad fight. Like as
Yeah.
soon as Bilal Muhammad started to put pressure on him, Leon Edwards was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like,
Yeah.
so maybe this is just Leon Edwards' true colors actually showing
Yeah.
up more now. Like we
Yeah.
talk,
I mean,
like
it's kind of like the Ankalaev thing too. Like Ankalaev, you start like leg kicking him really hard, and he's like, "Oh shit, I don't know what to do."
yeah,
Right? It's like, but you have to pressure him. Um, yeah, and that's that. I think that like Leon Edwards really has a severe mental strategic blockage when it comes to MMA. Like
mm,
if he can't start moving downhill on you in the first 2 minutes, he just kind of gives up and is like, "Man, I don't really want to be in this fight." Um,
mm,
so yeah, and that's you can't be doing that against Sean Brady because Sean Brady, like I said, is probably the best grappler in the welterweight division, and I mean,
you think
freakishly strong.
you think he's a better grappler than Shavkat?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Oh,
he took Craig Jones to a draw in submission wrestling, right? Like he's
oh,
and like a legit. I think like Shavkat is a better MMA grappler because once he gets on top of you, like he pounds the ever loving shit out of you, right? Like he just like he's got devastating ground and pound. But if it
mhm.
was a pure submission wrestling
Oh,
match,
okay, that's what you
I'd
mean.
pick Sean Brady in a
Got
heartbeat.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
and also Sean Brady. I mean, you didn't see this fight, but he comes out. Luke Thomas has referred to him as like a ninja turtle. His back is so ripped that he looks like he's got just a fucking turtle shell. He's like hunched over because he's just yoked out of his goddamn mind. Um, so yeah, that wasn't great. And Leon seemed to kind of not take any lessons from the Bilal fight, right?
Hmm.
Like he just seemed to like overestimate his ability against a strong grappler and have the same thing happen again, except this time Sean Brady's a better submission grappler than Bilal, and so Leon tapped out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so a great arrival moment for Sean Brady to beat a former champion. But it really made me go like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I think Leon Edwards never has a major signature win again. Um,
Oh.
at this point, right? Like he might beat some good guys, right? He might be kind of like Jorge Masvidal in the back half of his career. Like he has a couple of entertaining fights. I mean, you could definitely do Leon Edwards Nate Diaz rematch, and like that would be okay. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like not great.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So, but like props to Sean Brady. He definitely has put himself probably in the top 5. But I think it's really something where we just had this conversation about like the generations of welterweight, and I think Leon Edwards was part of that. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, uh, who's someone else in that? That's about
Uh,
it.
okay.
Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal,
Yeah. Yeah.
Stephen Thompson, like era. And he just got the belt at the very end of that era. And I think the same with
Hmm.
Bilal, right? Like they both are older, and they're not part of this kind of new generation. And so I think we're fully seeing the turnover now. Because at this point, we've got Bilal as the champion. Leon Edwards was the number one contender. So Shavkat could move into that position, or Sean Brady could. We have Jack Taylor Maddalena at number 4. Kamaru Usman is still at number 3, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Joaquin Buckley. Number 7 is Ian Machado Gary. Then we have Gilbert Burns. We have Colby Covington, which is kind of crazy to me. But we've got Carlos Prates, Marlon Moraes, Michael Venom Page. We've got like, younger contenders coming up
Mm.
overall. So Colin, knowing Sean Brady just kind of wiped the floor with Leon Edwards, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like really
Yeah.
wiped the floor with him. What do you want to see happen kind of in the top 5, 6, 7 of the welterweight division, knowing we've got Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena as the next title fight?
I mean, I'm still partial to wanting Shavkat to get his shot for
Yep,
a title, and I want
makes
it to
sense
be
to me.
against Bilal. But
Hmm.
it sounds like that's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't know. Based on what you were just telling me about, Sean Brady's wrestling prowess, it would be cool to see Sean Brady versus Shavkat. But I also
That
don't
would
want to
be,
like knock off two of those top contenders, like have them cannibalize each other. Like so quickly.
yeah, that's a sexy fight. That's a
It
good
is.
fucking fight.
It is a good fight. But
And then what do we do with the others? Because we've got Kamaru, we've got Leon floating up there, but we also have Joaquin Buckley, Ian Machado Gary. We've got Carlos Prates, our smoking, drinking, steak
yeah,
loving man.
I'm rooting for him, man. I want him to
Yeah.
get on up there. Maybe him against Carlos Prates against Ian Gary might be interesting.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Yeah. So uh I don't know if him against Joaquin Buckley would be entertaining, you know.
Gary and Buckley, or Buckley and
Buckley
Pratis?
and Prates.
Oh, I think they would just throw down.
Really? You don't think Joaquin Buckley might try to play it more tentative like he's done not in his last fight but the fight before and just kind of, you know,
Compared to Ian Gary, the most tentative man on earth, the most I've got footwork because I circle to the left endlessly. Come now. Joaquin Buckley's got a little bit of that donkey brains in him, where he'll just start swanging and banging for no reason. And
All
Carlos
right, all right.
Prates, he's about that life.
That's all he does. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want.
All right, all right, all right. That's fair.
Yeah. So it means that of those major contenders, we have to give one of them a fight with Leon or a fight with Kamaru. Who should we give that fight to?
Oh. Well, okay. Does Kamaru Usman doesn't have a fight scheduled yet?
No. Mm-mm.
Hmm. Interesting.
We don't know if he'll even fight at welterweight. He might fight at middleweight.
Oh, really?
Well, he fought last at middleweight, and like he's 38 now, so who knows if he'll cut.
That's true.
He's just holding that number 3 position, which is so stupid. The UFC's got to boot him from the rankings. I mean, same with like Colby Covington at number 9. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Why is he there?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they really want to get him out of there, then just you could feed him one of these like hot up and comers right now. So
I mean, I think probably, yeah. I think like Ian Gary against Kamaru Usman, Ian Gary versus Colby Covington would be good. Or just have Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington have their shitty trilogy match and then have them both retire. Because who gives a fuck? They're not like Kamaru was an awesome champion, and I really enjoyed watching him fight. But like,
yeah, when he was champion.
yeah, but the time has come and gone. So
Yeah.
like, let's move past it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Same kind of like Gilbert Burns and Stephen Thompson. Like, let's move past it, you guys. Um, yeah. But we've got a great. It's good eating at welterweight, right? Like we've got Bilal, we've got Shavkat, Jack Taylor Maddalena, Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley, Ian Machado, Gary, Carlos Prates, Michael Moraes coming up. Like these are all great fighters. But then we've got just some old motherfuckers in here. Like Leon Edwards looking old in this fight, looking like he doesn't really want to fight. Kamaru Usman looking old. Colby Covington looking old. Stephen Thompson looking old. Um, we need the brush. Right, we need the brush fire to wipe out all this old growth overall, but we're trending in the right direction.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask is you mentioned just Sean Brady, coming in with a good game plan. Do you think that was his original game plan, or do you think his adjustment on the fly? Because you said he was getting pieced up in the first round, so it sounds like, yeah, that first round did not go around, so he had to adjust, or he just couldn't get his game plan off on that first round.
I think
What
it's
did you
probably
read?
I think it's probably the latter because we
Oh,
know
okay.
his stand up. I mean, when he lost to Bilal Muhammad, it was solely a striking affair, right? Like
Mhm.
Bilal stuffed all of Sean Brady's takedowns and then got pieced up badly by Bilal. Look, I will remember the name. I love Bilal Muhammad. My man doesn't have great striking. You know,
No, he
my
doesn't.
man's pumping 1 and 2s pretty slowly and mechanically. Sean Brady still doesn't have great stand up at all. And
Mm.
so when Leon Edwards was able to keep it that way and keep the jab pumping and keep the body kicks like flowing, Sean Brady had nothing for him. But as Leon began to kind of relax on his laurels and Sean Brady was able to inch closer to him, the second he grabbed a hold of him, it was clear like Sean Brady's got control of this. And Leon's good in the clinch too. Leon hit him with a couple of like really great slashing elbows while in the
Mhm.
clinch. But like Sean Brady ate it because he's a freak from Philly and then took him down and absolutely bodied him. Like that's
Yeah.
how it went. And I don't want to make it as simple as like, oh, once Sean Brady takes him down, it's great. Because like Leon has good grappling. Leon is a very skilled grappler. But like Leon is just or Sean Brady is just so much physically stronger than Leon and has so much more technique, right? He's got
Mhm.
so much more physical dominance and better skill. Like
Yeah.
that's just a bad recipe.
I
Um,
mean, when you're smaller, you need to have skill, and when you're not,
yeah,
when you're outskilled by the bigger person, you don't have much to work with then.
yeah, exactly. So it's like one of those things of like, if Bilal can still keep it standing and make sure that Sean can't get his grappling going, I still pick Bilal to beat Sean Brady, right?
Mm.
We know Shavkat is huge for this division,
Yep.
so maybe the strength won't play as much of a factor. But like we've never seen Shavkat off his back. We know Shavkat's great on top, but we also know Shavkat has like no defense. So maybe grappling wise, he doesn't have great
Mm.
submission defense, sweeps from the bottom. So I don't know how it would go with them against
Yeah.
Sean Brady, but it's clear like Sean Brady has spec'd 10 out of 10 in strength, 10 out of 10 in grappling, and like 5 out of 10 in striking. So if he runs into somebody who can keep it standing, which is how Bilal beat him, I would still pick Bilal to beat Sean Brady. But
Mm.
I mean, this is him maturing and taking bigger scalps, taking bigger names. But I didn't see anything in his striking where I was like, "Ooh, he's really improved."
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
or in his takedown game, which would be like Bilal wouldn't be able to stop that
Right.
unless Bilal just. I mean, Bilal's what 37 this year. Bilal just gets old, you know.
Mm.
So that's welterweight. An interesting division. It's cool to see Sean Brady kind of arrive fully. Kind of like sad and like very frustrating to see Leon Edwards just kind of like mentally give up. Which like
Yeah.
I get it. We all mentally give up in a lot of positions in our life, but like it's it's frustrating when it's a prize fighter giving up mentally in a prize fight. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we move on to the co-main event,
Yeah.
and boy howdy, was this a stinker, Colin?
Oh boy.
Now, if you had watched it, I would have been interested to hear your scorecard because I very confidently scored this 2 rounds to 1 for Jan Blachowicz.
Oh, really?
but he did not win. Um, it was a Carlos Ulberg win.
Do you feel like he was robbed, or do you feel like you're like, okay, I could see it either way, and this kind of sucks that it went down this way?
So usually the way that I think about like robberies is like, let's say you have three very close rounds, right? And then one person wins. I don't really like think of that as a robbery. Even if I think all three close rounds went to one person versus another, I'm like, well, if you really squint, you can see those 3 rounds. It's
Mhm.
when I see, let's say in a 3 round fight, one person wins one round super clearly, and then the other two are very close.
Okay.
I thought Jan Blachowicz won the first round very clearly. And then round two, I thought like I edged it for Carlos Ulberg. And then round three, I like slightly edged it for Jan Blachowicz. But I still went, well, of the only definitive round I can really call, and I know this is not how fights are actually scored. I was like, I thought Jan Blachowicz definitely won. I think with like a bullet, he won one round.
Okay.
Um, Now, the judges disagreed with me because it was all over the place for round one. So I don't really know. It was Jan Blachowicz throwing kicks, Carlos Ulberg being more athletic and landing a jab as he moved
Mhm.
laterally. Neither one of them looked like they could beat Ankalaev or Prohatska or uh, Poatan. So I kind of went, meh, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
that was kind of my thought. I was like, eh. And I guess we can be excited because Carlos Ulberg will now be a new title contender. So if Ankalaev and Poatan fight again, which is what sounds like will happen, you could do Ulberg versus Prohatska, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to Blachowicz versus
Right.
Prohatska. But like, I don't have a confidence in Ulberg or Blachowicz from this performance that they'd beat either of those or any of those top three.
Okay, okay.
So whatever. I mean, Blachowicz looked like the double shoulder surgery did not affect him a ton.
Okay, that's good.
He was throwing leg kicks. He was throwing body kicks. He was doing the like classic Blocko blitz. Like I'm gonna throw a rear hand uppercut and then a lead hook. In an insane janky combination. Carlos Ulberg just continually circled left and then circled right and threw jabs and did basically nothing else. It was a pretty like boring, not very technical light heavyweight fight.
So I saw a post after this card came out basically saying that light heavyweight is washed, get rid of it. Like
I mean, we've been saying that shit for 37 years, my man. Like, we've been saying that shit since the beginning of this podcast, haven't we? Like, shit sucks. Shit really
Yeah,
does suck.
yeah, yeah.
So, like, yeah, no, I agree. I'm fine cutting 205 and above. No problem in my book.
Uh,
Because who do we got at 205? And who we got at 265? Nobody
no one.
and nothing. Or we can just do Yuri, Poatan, Ankalaev, Tom Aspinall, and let's just have them all fight each other endlessly. But we know Yuri can move down to 185. Poatan already fought at 185. So maybe we just have Ankalaev and Tom Aspinall fight for the final heavyweight belt. And then we just call it a fucking day. You know what I mean?
You just say goodbye to them.
Yeah, yeah. Like it won't hurt anything. Or maybe just do 200 pounds and above, like boxing heavyweight, and just let
Mm,
it go infinitely.
yeah.
Like, let's get some freaks in here. Let's get some 7'9", 800-pound monsters in here. Cause yeah, the skill level is so low. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So who cares? Um, that was that fight. If you had watched it, I would have been interested to hear your score. Because I feel like most intelligent fight fans called it for Jan Blachowicz, but Carlos Ulberg won, so you know.
You, you also know that I too suffer from donkey brain, so
Yeah, but I think you would have. I think seeing effective kicking technique and good defense, you would have been like, "Wow, great job, Jan Blachowicz, blocking a lot of things, landing solid kicks."
Mhm.
as opposed to like somebody who just like looks busier, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like that's what this fight kind of felt like. Like Carlos Ulberg just like looked busier, but like,
Oh.
is that effective? Like whatever. Um, because I think in round 3, like he took him down, but it was like Jan Blachowicz landed like a super solid 1-2 and like a
Mhm.
super solid kick in that round, and then Carlos Ulberg took him down and did fuck all with it. So it's like, I mean, if we're judging on damage, the guy that just like hit you with the 3-piece and a soda, like that's way better than just sitting in his guard. Uh,
Mhm.
but it's light heavyweight, so who cares? Right? Like, who cares? Let's get to shit that matters. Let's get to shit that matters. Gunnar Nelson came back, Colin.
All right.
This was actually a fun fight. I'd recommend
Was it?
watching Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin
Okay.
Holland. Yeah,
Okay. That's good.
yeah. Gunnar Nelson got dropped at one point. Kevin Holland went for an omoplata, and Gunnar Nelson just deadlifted him up and then laughed at him.
Oh.
Pretty interesting, like grappling exchanges overall. Um, it shows that like Kevin Holland's got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Caveat there. Gunnar Nelson's I just learned this. Gunnar Nelson has fought 5 times in the same time span that Kevin Holland has had 25 fights in the UFC.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, Kevin Holland fighting 5x the amount Gunnar Nelson has fought in the UFC
Wow.
in the same time period. That's crazy.
Yeah. How
Um,
long of a period is that? What, like 5 years? 4 years?
let's see. I think Gunnar Nelson. I think this is since like 2017. Let's look. So Gunnar
Okay.
Nelson
God. Only
since
fighting 5
2018.
times? Yeah, only fighting
20.
5 times in 7 years, like, that's it's
Yeah.
not a lot of experience, but also fighting 25 times in 7 years, like, damn.
Yep. Right.
That's a decent amount.
So it was cool to see Gunnar Nelson back in action doing his weird fucking like Kevin Holland, it showed that like Kevin Holland's like still pretty good, even if he'll never be a title challenger, even a top 15 at welterweight. Like he's a great gatekeeper for people getting into the top 20, top 15 of this division.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
have entertained about welterweight and all the great contenders at the top, and like these are not 2 great contenders, but an entertaining fight overall, I
yeah.
thought.
Okay,
Worth
alright.
watching because Gunnar Nelson's like fun, and there were a couple of like fun moments of like, yeah, like I said, Kevin Holland getting him in an omoplata, and then Gunnar Nelson just being like, I'm just gonna stand and lift you fully, just deadlifting another man, which is like, I know it doesn't win you a fight, but I was like, that's a power move. That's just dope.
Yeah, it's
It's just
still
dope.
entertaining.
Yeah, deadlifting another man.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool. Besides that, what? Molly McCann retired. I mean, she's
Yeah.
washed. She lost to someone who like whatever. Good on Molly. I mean, do you have any favorite memories of Molly McCann?
No, sorry, like
Yeah, she had that spinning elbow knockout too. What was the woman's
oh,
name? Remember that? This was like right around the Patty, uh, Pimblett. Like her and Patty both get 2022. She knocked out what is this woman's name? Something Carolina? Um, Luana Carolina. Yeah.
okay.
Spinning elbow knockout in
Sure.
2022 during one
Okay.
of the first London cards. Great. She screams "fuck the Tories" constantly, and I'm about that. So like, I'm glad she's retired. She never really was going to be super great, but like a kind of an interesting character and a little blip in UFC history. But like bad decision making on her part. Like if Leon had bad donkey brains, Molly McCann also had bad donkey brains in this
Mm.
fight. But that's not even the worst donkey brains overall of the night.
Oh, please tell me.
Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan.
Okay.
Chris Duncan begins to wrestle the ever living shit out of Jordan Vucenic in round 1.
Okay.
Just making it look like I'm the better grappler. You suck. I'm going to big brother you. Round 2 comes around. Jordan Vucenic after getting wrestle fucked for a round, goes, I'm going to get my jab going. I'm going to really light this guy up. And he gets his jab going. And Chris Duncan's got no answer. And I'm like, oh shit. Vucenic is coming back. He's going to do this shit. And then Vucenic goes, you know what I think? I'm going to shoot for a takedown. Shoots for a takedown on Chris Duncan. It gets stuff. They go back into striking. He lands another jab. A clean, perfect jab against Chris Duncan. And what does Vucenic do? He goes, time for my second takedown attempt. Shoots again. And I believe it was a guillotine choke. He just
that's what it says
straight,
here.
yeah, just gets straight guillotined. And I was like, what the fuck was this thinking? It was, this is market. This is my stamp. Donkey brains of the night. Jordan Vucenic. Like Leon Edwards shooting in the third round. He's a championship level fighter. You could say for a champion, you should have better awareness. But this was, this was true blue. You can't fake it, donkey brains by Jordan Vucenic. A real shame. A real shame to see overall.
Real.
Yep. So that was a bummer to watch because I was like, what the fuck is this fight? Like, what is the thought process right now? Nathaniel Wood at featherweight against Morgan Charrier. I told you, underdog, and he won. Nathaniel Wood continues to be an amazing fighter at featherweight. Watch him forever. Loder Kavanaugh, great fighter. He was a minus 375 favorite for a reason. Just much more skilled than Felipe Dos Anjos. A little disappointed he couldn't get the finish. It looked like kind of at any moment, if he wanted to, he could, but he decided not to. I'm still very high on him at flyweight. A great flyweight contender. Let's get him in against maybe Ray Saruya next. Let's start moving him up the ladder pretty quickly.
All right.
Who gives a shit about the rest? My boy Grum Kutsitaladze.
Yeah, what happened, man?
He just the time has come. The time has passed. I think the game might have moved past him, or maybe his age. Like he's just not. It's not the guy I thought he was. A little bit slower, a little less dynamic. How old is this guy? Because he was around like when Mateusz Gamrot was just coming up. His debut fight was against Mateusz Gamrot in 2020, and he beat him. And then he fought in 2022, 2023, 2024. He hasn't been able to keep kind of a consistent schedule, and I wonder if just it's not in the cards for him overall, which is a bummer. Yeah. And then I have to say, Sean O'Bannon, I made fun of you. I called you the worst fighter on the UFC roster. And I was terribly wrong. Terribly, terribly wrong. I'm so sorry. In reality, your opponent, Puja Tamar, is the worst fighter on the UFC roster. I've never seen someone get out of an armbar and then put themselves back into the armbar so quickly as Puja Tamar. Have you seen the finishing sequence of this fucking fight?
No, I didn't. I just thought that I remember you saying like whoever this fight is the worst fighter on the UFC roster. And
so Sean O'Bannon comes out on one leg like a Taekwondo fighter, pumping front leg thrust kicks for no reason. Not great. Not a great way to kind of start your fight. Puja Tamar drops Sean O'Bannon on one leg and then goes, let me dive into ground and pound here. Dives in, no regard for positioning. Sean O'Bannon throws up her legs pretty sloppily, but kind of grabs the armbar from Puja Tamar. Puja Tamar does the exact right thing. I'm going to turn into it. I'm going to make sure I sag down on your weight. I'm going to pull my arm out. Does that perfectly, and then goes, wait a minute. What if I fed my arm right back through with a punch, right between the legs, to see if that'll do it? So after she retracts her arm, puts it right back in the same position, trying to punch that it was just in. Just allowing Sean O'Bannon to grab it even more. And then after already turning the correct direction, goes, what if I turn the opposite direction and reset my feet? Right? So imagine you're standing over someone. You're supposed to turn to your right to alleviate pressure on your arm. You do that. You pull your arm out. And you go, I'm going to punch it right back in the same direction it just came from. And then you go, well, now it's in the same pressure. I should keep turning to my right, but maybe I'll turn to my left. Uh-oh, it's getting tighter. Maybe I'll pull backwards with my upper body rather than sagging towards it so I can contract my bicep. Like, she almost armbarred herself. It was the most baffling decision making I think I've seen in MMA in a long time. And I just watched Leon Edwards shoot in the third round. I just watched uh whatever Donkerson Vucenic shoot for 2 takedowns.
Mm.
Puja Tomar, man. Not great, Bob. Not great at all. So this really was the night of donkey brains. Like, I don't know what's in the water or not in the water in London, but motherfuckers making bad decisions overall.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah. So that was kind of right. With those bad decisions, you go, hey, we've got some interesting blood at welterweight. Hey, Kevin Holland's still interesting. Light heavyweight still sucks, but boy howdy, if the rest of the card wasn't a goddamn slog to get through, Colin.
Ugh.
So that was
that is real shame, real bummer, man. Sorry you had to go through that by yourself.
Yeah, I know. I was in the trenches taking grenades, and you were out there sipping pina coladas on a beach.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how we do it.
But one other thing happened this weekend. Well, I mean, many other things happened. Like George Foreman died. Did you all see that?
I did. That was really a big bummer. That was what, Friday night?
I think so. Yeah, a bummer. What where do you rank, like, now that the man is deceased, where do you rank him as a human amongst your top heavyweights?
As a human?
Overall. No. Just where is he in your kind of heavyweight pantheon?
Oh, I mean, Ali era with, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, all of them. It's just kind of so mythologized for me, and I think I have to I feel like I just have to sit back and watch them some more again, especially after we talked about it. I very, that whole era is what really got me, not into boxing, but that's what I would reference, for. That's still what you refer to for your classic heavyweight title match, your heavyweight showdowns and the the drama behind heavyweight boxing.
It's the golden age.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, yeah, all of them took a hellacious beating for all of our entertainment. So, I'm actually, he didn't have any major health complications related to his boxing, did he? I think he's the one who kind of escaped from that, right?
Yeah, not that I know of. I know he became nearly, I mean, a 100, 200, 300 millionaire with the Foreman grill.
Yeah. Good for him. Way to do that.
And yeah, probably a top 5 heavyweight of all time. I mean, at least a top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best comeback stories in heavyweight. I mean, probably the best comeback heavyweight story ever. Winning a title at 45 fucking years old.
Was he 45?
Yeah, he came back and beat it against, who was it that he beat? He came back and who did he beat? Is it Michael Moore? Michael Moore? Yeah. Michael Moore. He beat in 1994 for the heavyweight title. He was 45 years and 299 days, nearly 46 years old.
Jeez, and he defended.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's I don't need to say my exact age, but I'm at least a decade younger than 45 and 299 days. And when I sneeze, my back hurts. You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker won the heavyweight title after already fighting Evander Holyfield and Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and knocking out Joe Frazier. Like
Yeah.
already having a full decorated Hall of Fame level career, and then came back at 45 and was like, guess what? I'm still here, bitches. George Foreman, an absolute stud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so besides that,
Jeez.
we had the UFC events. We had the passing of George Foreman, rest in peace. But we also had a one championship fight, which nobody
No
advertised.
one
Nobody told me
fucking knew
about.
about. Like, Jesus.
What?
Yeah, no one
Yeah,
knew about. And it had some incredible names on this fight.
phenomenal card. A
Yeah.
phenomenal card, which is free on YouTube. I invite you all to go watch it. Because yeah, it was pretty good. Colin, did you
Yep.
watch any of this? You've watched one thing, I think.
Yes, I watched because you told me it was only a minute long. The main event of Rate versus Takeru Sagawa. So
Yeah.
that's it. But
Colin, how scary is Rotang?
he's always been scary. Like,
Yeah. So was this more of Takeru being shot? Because Rotang doesn't finish people in the first round. And
no.
he motherfucking finished Takeru in the first round.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
is it
know.
like Rotang is immortal?
I don't know. So I don't know anything about Takeru Sagawa, but seeing the hit that he took, yeah, there's a big fucking hit that he took, but also he looked like he was getting up and didn't quite beat the count. So like, I don't know. It was if it didn't stop right there, Rotang would have finished him off. So I don't know if just Takeru was way overmatched and overreaching with this fight or what. I don't know if Rotang just was like, I'm just gonna let loose now or what's going on. But yeah, we haven't like seen. He's still been Rotang for all these years, but yeah, like first round, minute 20, knockout, like hellacious, like just super overhead there. Like, yeah, you don't really see that from him.
Yeah, that's crazy. You don't know who Takeru is?
No, dude, I don't know anything about most of these one championship fighters because
Oh.
I don't see
Wait,
any of
hold
these
on,
fights
hold
until
on, hold on.
after the fact.
You didn't watch live the Takeru versus Tenshin Nasukawa fight? The fight of the century in kickboxing?
Nope.
You gotta watch that fight, dude.
Okay.
I think it was 2022 at the Tokyo Dome. I think it had like a sold out audience of like, I don't know, what's Tokyo Dome? 80,000? Like,
Mhm.
and like Tenshin Nasukawa and like Takeru was the old guard of Japanese kickboxing when it was at its peak. And then Tenshin Nasukawa was for a time like the young, I think he's moved into boxing now, but like was the new generation. And it took, I think, 10 years to get this fight booked. And I think it was called like the fight of the century in Japanese kickboxing. Takeru
Wow.
versus Tenshin Nasukawa. And it was a phenomenal fight
Okay.
overall. A great fight. Everyone should go back and watch it. We should probably do a retrospective just on that fucking fight once you
Oh,
watch it.
yeah,
It's
I'll watch for sure.
so good. My takeaway is like Takeru's got to be washed because Rodtang never finished as anyone in the first round. But like, cool that they put it together. I hope Takeru got a decent amount of money. Sanchaivac fought Nori. Nabil versus Superlek. Another great fight. Went to a decision. Worth watching overall on this card. Like you said, I mean, if you're an old school fan, especially of submission and grappling, Aoki fought on this fight and submitted Eduardo Foliang, which, like, he's a wushu fighter, so I don't know what that means. Probably, like, that he's not very good.
Yeah, yeah.
John Lineker fought in kickboxing because they refused to give him a MMA fight, but this was actually, like, a really good fight for one, if you're interested in kickboxing.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I have it queued up right now, so it's free on YouTube. So hell yeah.
Yeah.
But
Go see
that's
it.
the thing. Like, I have no idea. I had no idea that this was happening. Like, when you texted me, "Hey, did you watch the one fight?" I was like, "Nope." Normally, I'm the one telling you about one fights.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah, they don't care. Again, like I'll say, companies that don't care, that seem like they should. Maybe they're doing something with their money that's weird. I'm not saying that any company I know of does that, but a hypothetical company might be doing something weird with their money. Yeah. That's about it. That's what happened this weekend.
yeah,
We had a London card. We learned some things. Molly McCann retired. There was a lot of donkey brains. It feels like there's an ever growing donkey brain epidemic within MMA overall, and like we have to deal with that.
yeah,
Yeah, but welterweight's looking good, right? Like we're
yeah,
excited, kind of, maybe.
yeah. Sure, sure.
And then we've got fight card coming up this weekend. Colin, of the fights on this fight card, how many
Yeah.
are you interested in?
Uh, one, two, I guess four. The last four.
Ooh, let me know. What are the four?
Brandon Moreno, Steve Erceg.
Very good. We love it.
Okay. Really only the lightweight fight with Drew Dober, just because you've mentioned Drew Dober a few times, and I have not really watched any of his, so I think I owe it to you to
Oh,
watch some of his fights.
great fighter. Yep.
Kelvin Gastelum, because he's kind of that. We talked about the previous generations in fighting, and he was part of the Izzy Robert generation. And when you described him as like, I think he's just like a stoner who likes to go eat a lot of stuff and then, occasionally mix it up in fighting. It's like, that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly who he is, and I love it. So, so he's just entertaining. I don't think he'll ever challenge for a title again, but whatever. It's Kelvin Gastelum. And then Chiwiwi's boys, Raul Rosas Jr. at bantamweight. See if he can actually is he actually going to live up to the hype here?
Well, I don't know if this is the fight to live up to the hype because his
Well, no,
opponent has gone 0-3 in his last
yeah,
three.
it's more just evaluating his abilities, even regardless of who he's fighting against.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, eh, whatever. Who cares about
Yeah.
Chiwiwis? I will say, gotta throw out one more. Lupe Godinez.
Oh yeah, I see that there.
Yeah. So that's good.
All right.
Love to see that. But this is a pretty good card overall. So we'll have to talk about that. Now, here's the thing, Colin. Is that enough to do picks?
I don't know.
I don't think
You're
so.
you're pretty close. You're pretty close in the score right now. We're 18-16 because I fucking sucked this last card. So
Well, so did I. We both picked Edwards, but like here we go. Donkey Brains rules all. You picked Olberg over Blachowicz, but you didn't even see the decision that he won.
nope.
So you can't even go against it.
I can't even gloat for it. Yeah.
You were wrong about Nelson and Holland. I was wrong about Kutateladze. You thought decision was Bannon versus Tomar, which is surprising because it should have been if Tomar just didn't want to be armed. I was right, and then of course Nathaniel Wood as plus money. You gotta take Nathaniel Wood. I don't know what the fuck everyone else is thinking. So yeah, I am down by 2 points, but all right, we'll make picks this next time. Overall.
Okay. I got a
yeah.
few things stored for you too, as well, if you're interested. So
Okay, yeah, cool. So we'll make picks this next round.
Mhm.
Lastly, a quick one, not even on the rundown. Colin,
Mm.
when Dana White was asked recently about if he would ever step away from the UFC, he said, "We'll see later this year." If Dana White is to step away from the UFC, who do you think is most likely to take over his position as kind of the
Jeez.
spokesperson, president, face of the UFC?
Dude, I have no idea. I haven't even thought about who could possibly do that.
Mm-hmm. I guess
have
here's
no
the
idea.
thing: if you can't think of a face, do you think it would be a recognizable name or a face, or do you think it'll just be a corporate suit that no one knows about?
Ugh. I feel like there has to be some recognition. Like
Hunter
someone in the
Campbell?
fight game. Possibly, but to be in the face of the UFC and to I just haven't seen him that much, like actually in a public facing role like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
say what you will about Dana White, he is a very large personality and is able to be a driving force behind the organization. So, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially if we're kind of going in this downward spiral of skill and ability, we need someone who can kind of champion the sport, champion the organization in a very
Why
charismatic
shouldn't the
way.
executive class also go down that same spiral? Come on now. They're allowed to all be fail sons of rich people as well.
Fair, okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Who do you think?
Right. I think it'll probably be Hunter Campbell, or if it's not Hunter Campbell, no, it's gonna be a suit, right? They're a publicly traded company now. They don't need a big bombastic person. They just need
Well,
somebody to grease the wheels.
didn't Endeavor go private?
I think TKO is trying to go private, but at the
Okay.
moment they're still a publicly traded company.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah. Alrighty. Well, we've got one more event in March, and then we've got kind of a weird April. Are there any boxing matches that are coming up that you know of?
Not off the top of my head.
You're
Do you got
killing me,
any?
dog. Well, I'm looking. Let's see. Oh no, just a whole bunch of nothing.
Just a bunch of nothing? Uh-oh. That's
Well,
not good.
in May we've got Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero.
Okay. And in June we have Inoue in Vegas.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, shit. All right.
Yeah, I think it's June 4th or something.
It's May 4th.
Inoue?
Inoue versus Ramon Cardenas. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yes, yeah.
And then, dude, Canelo's gonna fight William Skull. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, whatever.
Your boy Jaron is fighting.
Boots?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like not against anyone that like matters. You know what I mean?
All right.
Who cares? Yep. And then in April we've got some good fights in April. We've got unfortunately a Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy Apex card to kick off the month, which kind of sucks. But then that Volk Lopez fight card,
Oh yeah.
absolutely slaps. So fucking good. And then to seal off that month, we've got Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal
Oh
Hill.
yeah. Okay.
like,
Okay.
That's a great fucking fight card. And then who else we got on there? Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Don't really know. Anthony Smith's retirement fight. Michelle Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Maybe not as good as I thought. Just excited about Jamal Hill. Khalil Roundtree. But yeah, this Volk fight, we've got Volk Lopez, Chandler Pimblett, Bryce Mitchell, Blue Jean Silva, Carlos Freitas, Jeff Neal, Yara Rodriguez, Patricio Pitbull, Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes, Dan Ige, the homunculus Sean Woodson,
Yep.
Yan Chanan, Verna Jandaroba, Chase Hooper, Jim Miller. I mean, then some kind of sad fights that I don't want to talk about. We've got Darren Elkin still fighting. Ugh. But a pretty good fight card overall.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. Anyway,
Yeah.
the Brits made us realize that everyone around the world, even the largest empire that's ever existed, all have donkey brains. So, like, just take comfort in that if you're a donkey brain fool like us. This has been Two Fight Fans Podcast. I'm One Fight Fan Stuart.
I'm the other Colin.
Join us on Friday. We're going to make picks for UFC, Mexico City, Brandon Moreno, Steve Urseg. We're going to try to find 4 other picks that we can make because, like, there's about only 4 other fights that are semi-interesting on this card. But effort is what it takes to exist in this world, and I'll stop when I'm dead. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.